Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today, I'm going to be doing a quick video giving you guys some tips and tricks for beginners especially, because these are some things that I've picked up over the years of doing makeup. And I've been doing it for a good while now, so I have learned, you know, lived and learned, made some mistakes and learned from them. And I just kind of adapted to some things that I really found worked for me. So if you guys want to see what those things are, please keep watching. Alright, so the first thing is, I'm going to go in the order in which I usually do my makeup. So the first thing I'm going to do is my eyebrows. So my first tip for you guys is that when you're filling in your eyebrows, and if you are using a powder, like an eyeshadow, which is what I'm going to use today, I would recommend using a lighter eyeshadow in the inner part of your brow and a darker one in the outer part of your brow. And this is because it's going to give you that more natural effect. That's that ombre, you know, that you see a lot of people having. And that's a really good way of achieving it. So I'm going to go ahead and take this light brown right here, and I'm going to fill in the front half of my brow. And you see it's not much darker than my natural brow color, but that's because I want to start off really light and make it blend into a darker color. Now I'm going to take this darker brown color and I'm going to apply that to my inner middle part of my brow. And for me, depending on how dramatic you want your brow to be, I will either drag this color all the way out to the tail of my brow for a less dramatic brow, or I will go ahead and take this black eyeshadow and apply that just to the tail of my brow. But for today's purposes, I'm just going to take it and drag it out all the way to the end of my brow, this brown color. Okay, now the second way that you guys can do your eyebrows is if you only have one single eyeshadow color. And that would preferably be the middle color for which your brows can be. So mine, this one's too light for me, this one's too dark for me, so this one's like the perfect one. So if you only have one eyeshadow color, you're going to want to pick up some of that color. And so that way, so you can get that same ombre effect as if you had a lighter eyeshadow. You want to start in the middle of your brow and concentrate most of that color right there. And you see, by doing this, by putting the color in the middle first, you can go ahead and blend it forward so that it's not so concentrated in the center or in the front of the brow, because if it is, then it's going to be much too dark and it's going to look very unnatural. So not picking up any more product, I'm going to blend the color in the front of the brow. And if that is still too dark for you, you can go ahead and take one of these brow brushes and blend it out a little bit more to diffuse the color. Alright, and after applying that, you're going to go ahead and take that same color and fill in the rest of your eyebrow. Now, tip number 2 for you guys is this one. I'm surprised not a lot of people actually do this, but my #1 way of getting perfect, really clean brows is by using concealer to shape your brows. And I know there are a lot of beauty gurus that do this, but there are a lot of beginner makeup artists or people becoming interested in makeup that really don't know that this is a great way to clean up your eyebrows. I prefer to use a liquid concealer. I did used to use a cream, so if you have a cream, that is completely fine, but I do now prefer to use a liquid concealer. So I'm just going to take some of that, and I take a little bit of concealer at a time, and I begin in the center of my brow, so that way I can blend the concealer either forward or backward. If I do apply too much, I begin in the center of my brow. And then you just want to blend it down with your brush and then with your finger. And you see, it makes such a huge difference. This is the concealed brow, and I haven't even concealed it all the way. And this is the unconcealed brow, and it really does help define your brows a whole bunch. And even if you initially don't like the way you drew on your brows, you can use a concealer to shape them however you want. Alright, so my next tip for you guys is that in place of using a primer for your eyeshadows, I personally, again, like to use concealer, just because I find, me personally, with oily eyelids, I find that it works way better than any primer I've ever tried to use. And Also, concealer is really great at covering any color discolorations on your eyelids or even like all the veins that you have. It's really great at making a really nice clean slate for your eyeshadows. And I find that it makes my eyeshadows last all day long, way better than any primer I've ever tried. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and prime my eyelids. Then I just go ahead and set the eyeshadow or the concealer with some powder. So I'm going to go ahead and start my eyeshadow for the day, and then I will be right back with you guys to share you my next tip. Alright, my next tip is actually one that I learned from Nikki Tutorials from watching her. So this one is not an idea of my own, I picked this up from her. But this tip is just basically that to get like a really good perfect blend, instead of using that same brush with the product on it to blend up, that's really going to spread that product up and apply maybe even a little bit more, is by taking a clean blending brush and using that to blend the product rather than using a brush with product, so that way you're just blending what's already there rather than applying more. And you can see on the brush that it did pick up some of the eyeshadow that was already there. And I really love this tip because that's one problem that I've had in the past, is blending up too far with the color. So I really do like this tip. It has been really helpful for me. But I just like to go back and forth with the color and with the blending just to get a really nice blend and also have a really good color payoff as well. So my next tip is actually kind of I've already done it, but I always do my eyeshadow and my eyebrows before I do my foundation. And the main reason why is because I do my eyeshadow before my foundation, because if there's any fallout, I don't have to worry anything about it. You don't have to worry about fallout, you just don't have to worry about it. So it just makes life a lot easier. With that being said, my fourth tip is when you're applying shimmer eyeshadows, it always helps to apply them wet, because it really does intensify the pigmentation of the color. Always. No matter what product it is, it always does. I'm going to be applying the shadows with a flat shader brush, and for my right eye I'm going to be using this color right here. And so you will see how much it intensifies once you wet the brush. Alright, so now I'm going to take, and I just used some face spray, so I'm going to take some spray and wet my brush, and I wet it a good amount. And then I pick up the product. And it just applies in a way that's a lot more foiled. Like you see right here, it looks a lot more shimmery and foiled than it does over here, and this is where I applied it wet. I hope it's picking up on camera, but this is where it was applied where it looks a lot more foiled, and this is where it's applied dry. With that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and finish applying my eyeshadow. So I'm going to go ahead and finish my eye looks, and then I will be right back. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos like this, and I will see you guys in my next video.